Hello, it's Phillip Taylor speaking from Richmond Green Chambers in London, and today I'm looking at a book from Globe Law and Business. It's a particularly important book because it covers a very important area of what we're actually dealing with today. It's called World Stock Exchanges. It's a practical guide and looks at the legal side of things as much as anything else. It's in a second edition. Of course, it blends what Globe Law and Business do, the legal stuff, with the business side of things. The consulting editor of the work is Hugh Maule, and as I've indicated, Elizabeth was the lead writer on this particular review, and we've given it a title, An Efficient and Authoritative Guide to the World's Major Stock Exchanges, now in a new edition. This is being recorded at the beginning of 2019. Let's look at the book. It's a purple cover. There's the actual front. You see it's very much their style with the actual not portrait but landscape. The spine has just some basic information, and there's some basic stuff on the back as well. Let me open the book up and show you it. It's hardback, of course, as you can see. It runs to 380 odd pages, and at the back you've got usual information about the people who have been involved in contributing to it, quite a large number of people in total. And I'll just show you that and work back a bit. There we go, about the authors there. That's always at the back in these publications. Then you've got various notes. This is actually the NASDAQ in the United States. But if I go to the front, I'll show you how it's structured. There again is the title, and there again is the blurb, and you've got the table of contents. Table of contents covers a very large range of places: Australia, Brazil, Canada, China, France, Germany, Hong Kong, India, Japan, Netherlands, Singapore, South Africa, South Korea, Spain, UAE, UK, that's the main and the AIM, the US, and that is both the stock exchange and NASDAQ. Do start by having a look at the introduction by Hugh Maule, which sets the scene very well indeed, and then we then go into the individual countries. You can see there's paragraph numbering at the side, and there is footnoting all the way through. You can probably see that. Not that much by way of footnoting, but a little bit anyway. South Africa there, and some tables. Very interesting book, and I think very informative for anybody who probably needs to have a little bit more information about exactly where we are today with the stock exchanges that we have around the world, because we are very much a global society. So what do we say? Well, for companies seeking a listing on a stock exchange in order to acquire, I'll just put this back up again. There we go. Yeah, so I'll just start that again. So for companies seeking a listing on a stock exchange, in order to acquire a relatively reliable source of working capital, this book from Globe Law and Business, with its global perspective, is quite a find in our view. It's now in a new second edition, and it functions as an information-rich, efficient and authoritative guide to the world's major stock exchanges, from Australia to the UK and the US. And the editor, Hugh Maule, who also writes the 2 chapters on the London Stock Exchange, has assigned a team of some 23 expert contributors to the task, most holding senior positions in some of the world's top law firms. So you've got very much of a legal authority coming on the way the stock exchanges operate. Each offers the benefit of special expertise as well as local knowledge of the area in which each stock exchange is based. Besides the Australian Securities Exchange, the ASX, the London Stock Exchange, including the AIM, plus the New York Stock Exchange and NASDAQ, already referred to, there are quite a few more based in, and here's the list, in the following countries: Toronto, China, France, Germany, Hong Kong, India, Japan, the Netherlands, Singapore, South Africa, South Korea, Spain and the UAE. Toronto, of course, being Canada. This is by no means an exhaustive list, of course. There are a lot more, mainly smaller exchanges, but those featured in this guide are the more prominent, thereby enabling companies and their advisors to compare off the merits of each. And I think they do that job very well indeed. Fortunately for the time-poor reader, this guide is logically organised and convenient to use. Most chapters open with an overview or introduction, proceeding from there to an often detailed and certainly informative analysis of the salient facts pertaining to each exchange, including a summary of its history and background. Typically, each chapter will discuss such areas as the legislative regulatory framework, always very important of course, and the principal requirements by which a company can obtain a listing. These include eligibility requirements, details of documentation, and other matters such as financial information, corporate governance, and much more, notably the complex web of procedures needed to secure a flotation. And again, I think that from a corporate point of view is very helpful information. It's a quote, of course, from the editor, Hugh Maule. He says, "Stock markets around the world provide a vital function in the overall fabric of business and society." And he goes on to say, by providing the structure for the investment needs and requirements for pension funds, insurance funds and other investment businesses, as well as retail investors with those companies who seek and maintain a listing of their shares. So you can see how crucial their work is. And he goes on to say this book provides authoritative assistance in the understanding of how these stock markets work. And indeed it does. If you called the book a comparison site in print of world stock exchanges, you wouldn't be too far wrong. Let me conclude by saying this. As well as lawyers and accountants, we think that bankers, brokers and certainly financial advisors will find this book indispensable. Obviously students will too. But note the word of caution from the publishers that legal advice should be sought before taking any action based on the information provided. In other words, this is not legal assistance or advice. It's really a straightforward statement of how the big exchanges work. The date of publication is cited as at the 8th of November 2018. Let's just have a look at the book again. Hopefully it won't fall over this time. There we go. There we go. It's the landscape style again there. And as I say, there's the spine and the back. Just opening it in the middle, I've gone to, what have we got? United Arab Emirates. There we go. You can see the structure of the book there. There's a little bit of footnoting at the bottom. There is a certain amount of paragraph numbering, more likely subheads and numbering, but it gives you a fairly good idea. And then we get to the London Stock Exchange there, which Hugh has written about, and then right at the back you've got the US Stock Exchange, and then NASDAQ right at the back thereafter. Altogether, a most impressive book, and I was delighted to review it. And I'd like to thank Sean O'Neill and all the people at Globe Law very much indeed for producing this excellent work now in the second edition. Thank you to all. Bye-bye.